So, Zach, we were talking about RFKJ, and one of the things he did this week that he's taking flack for, but not from anyone reasonable, is they're trying to remove Hep B from the list of recommended day one baby vaccinations, saying if you want to get it done, you should, but we're only recommending it for mothers who are Hep B positive or for mothers who don't know and might be Hep B positive, because it's a sexually transmitted disease or something you get through IV drug use. And most babies do not need any of these vaccines until they become more, into the teenage years and potentially sexually active, or drugs and so on. Anyway, that doesn't happen for a newborn baby in virtually any case. So what do you make of it?
I think it's long overdue. I think that it's really, really tragic what's happened in this world in the medical industry, one that of all industries we would imagine or we would assume these people having taken Hippocratic oaths to do no harm, right, under any circumstances, to not deceive that might lead to harm, that money has become the only objective. It's just make money at any price, whether that's the cost of human life or our own health. The fact that Hep B vaccines have been forced on babies day one, freshly out of the womb, when mothers take a blood test, they know if a mother has Hep B or not. This was all predicated upon, by the way. There was the study that was done that, the advocates for the Hep B vaccine point to, and this data that says, well, but, there's this amount of mothers who, even after testing, still contracted Hep B. And so therefore, we just need to cover all of our bases to make sure that babies are given this vaccine. That study was done on prison inmates. That study was done with women who were essentially practicing things that would put themselves in harm's way, that would make them susceptible to getting Hep B, even after being tested for Hep B. That is where that data came from. That is not the normal. That is not the average. That is cherry picking a very small amount of data, then applying it to the general populace, and then saying, well, see, this is what happens. We don't know, so we should probably just give every child a Hep B vaccine. It's ludicrous. It is absolutely insane that we're doing this. More than that, Bobby, not too long ago, he did a press conference where he showed the data that, by the way, I knew for a really long time. People like me who have cared about this vaccine issue across all vaccines for a really long time, and understanding that there is a lot of risk that comes with this. And does the upshot outweigh these risks? Bobby laid it out pretty clearly that if you look at the data, we've been told for a long time that vaccines are the main reason why we have, essentially eradicated things like polio and measles, mumps, and, all of these things that we shoot up our children with to avoid these problems. But the data actually shows very clearly that almost all of these things were essentially already eradicated because of far better sanitation and far better things like antibiotics that were being applied to the general populace. That means all of those sicknesses were already going away before the vaccines were being applied to everyone. And then, of course, in 1986, under Reagan's lead, which is really disappointing, he gave immunity to all of these drug companies who are making vaccines, and saying, well, no one can sue you if anything happens. Now, why would they need to have this level of immunity if what they were making was safe and effective? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No other product in the country has this kind of immunity. And for why? So that we can go back to data that shows that they weren't even really, again, I believe this wholeheartedly. This is data that Bobby showed very clearly. People still debate it, obviously, because there's a lot of doctors who I think are really well-meaning people, but who have believed this trickle down of information that comes from vested, greedy interests, people that control the narrative, or the people that are making the most amount of money doing this. And I would also argue to say that I think a lot of them are willing to pump children full of a lot of vaccines that might actually be injuring them, knowing full well. By the way, have you seen or have you heard of an inconvenient study? Del Bigtree made a
Oh, yeah.
documentary. Please go watch that documentary. Mickey Willis, a dear friend of mine, and Del Bigtree, and these wonderful people that are a part of Maha. It will blow your mind. An inconvenient study essentially, there was a doctor who did a study of vaccinated children versus unvaccinated children in the thousands, right? So it is a truly like it gives you the data points on both sides and what is downstream of being either a vaccinated child or an unvaccinated child. And shocker, the unvaccinated children have extremely low, like when it comes to asthma, eczema, things like autism. Like the vaccinated children were the ones who had multiple times more cases of what was going on, and they buried it because the guy on hidden camera, he says, I can't release this study. I would lose my job. I would lose everything if I brought this out. I would lose my career. I would lose my reputation. And this is the pressure that's coming from on high. And this is what was going on
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic and during COVID. Any scientist or any doctor
Mm-hmm.
who dared question the narrative was shut down, was silenced, was censored, got their credentials were stripped from them, their relationships were ruined because they were questioning what is now becoming very evident that, oh my God, these COVID vaccines actually were incredibly detrimental to us. And they are causing all manner of side effects, including, by the way, there were 10 children who died in Pfizer's own trial, and they hid that information.
Moderna
And
had a child
Moderna.
die and hid the
And
information
Moderna.
from the public and removed them from the trial so that they wouldn't have to report on the evidence of it. It's outrageous. I told the audience, I reported at the time on the fact that children were dying in the wake of the vaccine, especially thanks to myocarditis
Yes.
and pericarditis. And of course, I got attacked by the leftist, media as a liar. And I said, you do not give your child this vaccine without checking this out, especially if he's a teen and a boy. Girls too, though. I mean, it's so outrageous how they hid these facts from us. But talking like this is still dangerous if you're in certain industries like yours. You're not allowed to say these truths. And frankly, even mine. I mean, I'm independent media now, so I can say what I want. And you're independent too, but you do get jobs from Warner Brothers and so on. I heard you tell Fox News recently that you felt like you had been gray listed, so not fully blacklisted where you can't get a job. I assume gray means things slow down. There's more people who are like, it's a no just from hearing your name, but you're still able to get some work. So are you still experiencing that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a really heavy journey. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people, I think that there were journalists, ironically, on the right who wanted, again, to make kind of a salacious story. When I first was being more vocal, they were saying things like Zachary Levi blacklisted. Well, I never said that. I never said I was blacklisted. Because there are people still, I think, wonderful people who know me, know my heart, know that I genuinely, I care about everybody. I care about people on the left and the right. I want all of us to win. I don't think that we win because, so in order for us to win, other people have to lose. I think we all need to come to what is true and let sunlight be the best disinfectant. Let us get to the heart of all of it. If there are corrupt politicians on the left and the right, and there are, let all of them be taken out. Let us get to what is good and true and bring us back together and stop being kind of manipulated to fight against one another, which is the greatest distraction, so that we're not holding all of them accountable for their ridiculousness. I mean, insider trading, like things like that. Like, what are we doing? Like, I love Tim Burchett because he's one, like that guy is just going after it. He's like,
Yeah,
he is
he
one of the
doesn't
good guys. He
care.
doesn't care, and he's one of the good guys. I think Massey is as well. Again, I think there's people on both sides. There's people on the left that I think Fetterman, of all the people on the left, I mean, I think that Fetterman has shown himself to be truly reasonable and honorable. But anyway, when it comes to my career, when it comes to, yes, there's been incredible amounts of blowback.
Ever read the label on a typical bag of chips? It's often a science experiment of seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, and mystery ingredients. Masa is part of the growing movement to bring back real food. Masa chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. Not only do these chips avoid the bad stuff, they also taste delicious too. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic with no crash and no bloat. And if you love Masa, then you will love Vandy Crisps. Vandy, which is Masa's sister company, makes the most delicious 3-ingredient potato chips too. Ready to give Masa or Vandy a try? Use code MK for 25% off your first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com, or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by and pick a couple of bags up before they're all gone.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.